Hey guys, so it is May 30th, Tuesday morning after Memorial Day weekend, and we had a good time this weekend and just wanted to go through and see what's changed in the garden. I wasn't out here yesterday, and usually if I miss a day, then we get a lot of ripe stuff this time of year. So I just wanted to show you guys what has changed. Did a video a couple weeks ago, and actually a lot has changed since then. So I'll turn around the camera and we can see what's going on. So just step back a little bit, kind of show you the garden is definitely leapt up. We've got almost all of the winter stuff out of here and all the summer stuff in. I'm still planting beans, or shelling peas and beans. And right here in this front bed, I planted a mixture of the big boy purple hulls and some butter peas and some cream 40 peas. And I just filled in the holes that didn't come up with some cream 40 peas. And then we got all these sunflowers that are blooming everywhere. And I have a couple of those mammoth sunflowers that they haven't opened up yet. They just keep getting taller and taller. I got one there and then two back there. So you can barely see it. It kind of blends in. Right there is one, and then right there is one. But we've got the ice cream, the velvet queens, the autumn beauties, and lemon queens going, and the bees are enjoying the heck out of them. And then here in my yellow, this bed right here has my yellow tomatillas from Baker Creek, and they are getting some big balloons on them. Some of them have started forming on the inside, but they have just finally gotten where it's starting to get warm enough to where they are getting some size and putting on a lot of the little balloons for the tomatillas. So I'm really excited to see the tomatillas that we get out of here. And then in this bed, all my bachelor buttons are falling down. My coreopsis is coming out. The nasturtiums are starting to fade a little bit. Calendula is still going. That's all parsley. And in this corner was a lot of the cilantro that had gone to seed, and I went ahead and pulled that up to make in some carrots that I needed for a recipe. I still got plenty of carrots on the other side right there, but I pulled out this hole so I could plant some more seeds. So I got 3 different transplants, zinnia transplants right here, and I threw in some bachelor buttons and some chrysanthemum seeds. I think a mixture of different flower seeds I threw in here too. And then I got a nasturtium on this side. And then you can see that mammoth sunflower is getting so huge up there. It's starting to put a head on, so I'm really excited for that. Got another one down there. Just love all the sunflowers this time of year. And most of the ones that are out here are multi-head, so they just keep throwing many heads. There's some of the lemon queens, and then the autumn beauties and the velvet queen. I have a really pretty velvet queen in the back I want to show that is absolutely stunning. Nothing's really going on right here besides that sunflower. I need to weed this again, and I want to plant on this fence some pole beans. I want to do my Great Northern pole beans because they do really well throughout the heat of the summer. So I want to start from right here, go all the way down, plant some pole beans, and I'm not sure what I'm going to plant in this bed right here. I may plant some more tomatillas. So I want to make a lot of salsa verde this year. Spinning around, I cleaned out my celery bed. Celery's still going, still got some carrots right there that are full of weeds, and cleaned out this end bed and transplanted my savory and my fennel in there, and a couple of peppers, volunteer peppers, and then there's a morning glory going on the side. And then this bed I haven't done anything with but kind of clean it out. The nasturtium is kind of fading away. This cucumber plant is also fading away, so we're about to change this up and do something different here. And in this bed here was a kale bed and green bed, and the kale is about to go away. It had two pretty dinosaur kales, but as wet as it's been here lately, and it's cool, those two plants are kind of fading out. But we do have, these are the Steak Master Bush, and you can see we got some big ones. This one right here is pretty big. I didn't get as many beefsteak tomatoes in the ground or slicer tomatoes as I did cherry tomatoes. So a lot of my seeds that I just saved were cherry tomatoes, and we planted a bunch of sweet cherry tomatoes. So we got a lot on there. I got to stake that plant back up right there. But if you look through there, you can see a lot of tomatoes. They're just filled, and I've been picking cherry tomatoes. I've picked two or three slicers so far. There's some right there. I'm not sure what this is. I think this just might be one of those brown-ish tomatoes that come in the Wonder Tomato medley. Gotta tie him back up. Over here I just planted these with the rest of my butter peas and some purple hulls and some cream 40 peas in this bed. So they've got 4 volunteer peppers, and then I still have my 4 sunflower plants. And I still got my banana peppers. I've been getting a ton of banana peppers off these in this little bucket here. And this bed, just the other day, me and my son put another layer on it, cleaned it out. It's where the cabbage was. And I filled it with leaves, and now I just need to, I still want to put a little bit more leaves in there and some more compost. And then we're going to put some dirt in there and plant something. I'll go ahead and get me a bucket, start gathering stuff up. And going down the middle, I'm cleaning out this bed. It still has a few of those patty pan squash in here, but I'm probably going to clean that out because I want to start some more corn. And I have trimmed, the powdery mildew was taking hold of my squash. That was the patty pan bed there that I just planted beans in. They already quit. And I got sweet potatoes and butter peas in this bed here, but I still have a squash, and I just trimmed them all back. This is a zucchini. Trimmed them all back, and they're starting to flower again. So this big long bed, I want to make corn. And then spinning around behind that, I've got my lettuce leaf basil and my Chinese string eggplant, which are putting on flowers now. And I have a couple okra that I popped in here. Just the heavy hitter okra. And then back here is my thoroughly picked on collard greens. I've picked my onions. I need to put them in this bucket because I need to make cowboy candy and a bunch of canning today. So this bed's ready to do something else. And then that drawer right there is still empty. I'm thinking about planting chamomile in there. My chamomile plant that's up front. And these are my green or purple tomatillos. These might be the purple ones. But they've been making for a while, and they got a lot. That one's ready. I'm gonna leave it on there probably another day or two to see what it does, but look at him. He's definitely a purple one. Let's see if he turns more purple. So I've got, oh, there's one on the ground. Look at that. Our first tomatillo, and it's from our purple seeds. It's nice. So there's only 1, 2, 3, about 4 plants in here, maybe 5, that are just doing great. in that file cabinet drawer. I wanted to plant some more over here. I want to actually start some more starts. I did start a few starts and I only ended up with 3 plants because the tray got too wet. And those are the green ones, which I planted over there. They're just getting started. So we've got yellow, purple, and green tomatillos growing, and I'm excited. I was thinking about planting tomatillos there this whole spring, but if I can get some more started, that might be a good idea because they're close to these. And I have a few of the green tomatillos that are purple tomatillos. I'm not sure which because I had them planted over there, and I've got a couple in my corn that volunteered. So hopefully they're close enough together that they can get pollination. And this is my Swiss chard right here, the bright lights. This is a volunteer tomato plant and a bunch of volunteer pepper plants. I'm just letting them do their thing. I've transplanted some of the pepper plants out there, but we'll see if the strong ones survive. We'll keep them. And then right here is my summer pick tomatoes from Hoss Tools. And we've got some tomatoes. I haven't gotten any blushing ones off of here yet. And I usually pick them when they start to blush because the army worms and stuff will get to them. But there's several tomatoes in here. And then down here I've got my stunted bell peppers, which are still doing good. And I have picked so many cucumbers off of this plant and the one in the back that today, when I'm making cowboy candy, I went to the farmer's market on Sunday, and I got me a half a bushel of jalapenos because my jalapeno peppers ain't really coming in thick yet, so I can make a bunch of cowboy candy and jalapeno relish. And I made the jalapeno relish the other day just on the fly, and I really liked it. So I got a lot of jalapenos and cucumbers in there, so I'm gonna make some more of that and share it. So in this bed is my zucchini bed, which it has been pumping out a lot of zucchini. I've got more zucchini off this bed than I've ever got in a year of squash, as far as yellow or zucchini squash. And this thing is loaded up again. I just pruned this back heavy. There's one that needs to come off, but it has got some squash zucchini down there, and it's got a bunch coming on down there by the ground. So I keep missing these because they keep getting hidden. So I'm gonna make some more zucchini bread today, but I trimmed these way back because of the mildew, but they're still coming back. And this right here is my Rapicante zucchini plant, and if you can't even tell, that's a 2-foot bed behind there, and that's one leaf. So that leaf is probably over 2 feet wide on that. And so far we've only got male flowers, but I moved my arch trellis that was over here that had the spaghetti squash on it. It got ripe and that vine died, so I went ahead and moved that over here with my watermelons and that squash. And in that bed I have those Rapicante zucchini, and those you can either eat them like a zucchini young, or you can eat them like a butternut squash if you leave them on, so they're versatile like that. And I just put that there to help the watermelons have something to grow on. So this bed that we've been staring at down here is my okra. And my okra is putting on. It's getting something eating the leaves already, but here's my Jing orange okra, which I'm really, really excited to try this because I haven't had it before. And these leaves back here for my zucchini plant. But in this bed I just have a bunch of pretty zinnias. I love these zinnias that I planted back here. They are so pretty with the yellow centers. So we got a sunflower, we got a dwarf sunflower right there. About to make a bunch of heads. And some zucchini. This is another sunflower that is staying short. Got some celosias down here and some lettuce leaf basil. And a couple more Chinese string eggplant. And another sunflower and some more zinnia. So this bed's pretty well packed in. And then coming around, I have this beautiful, I'm just so enamored with this plant, and that pink one down there is so pretty with all its layers. And then beside that we have 3 more cherry tomatoes, right here, right here, and right here. And then we got 2 more rows of okra, and that's the heavy hitter and a Jing orange just popped in there. And then I also had put down here, there's a marigold, and I put in some sugar babies, watermelons. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sugar babies, and I had a couple more and I'm planting them back here. But before we go that way and take a closer look at that zucchini rapicante, we'll finish looking at these beds over here. So I have not planted anything in here yet. Got some sunflowers and volunteer marigolds, Cracker Jack marigolds from last year. And I got a couple of volunteer zinnias. And I wish that I would have filmed this when it was open, but this is a big dahlia tuber that I planted in here last year that came back. And it's a really pretty textured orange. And I have a picture of it I'll put up on the community page, but it was really pretty. Now it's about to open 3 more flowers. And then that's a marigold. There's the petals. It was so pretty. And then here is the zinnia that volunteered from last year. So I haven't planted any vegetables in this bed yet. Still trying to figure out what I want to plant in there. And then in this bed right here, I planted some purple hull zipper creams and cream 40 peas. And there's still one of those green patty pan squash that I had planted in here that's trying to make squash on there. So I might get another later crop of those, since this was actually hiding under some cabbage and didn't get to start growing until I pulled those out. But other than that, we planted a bunch of shell and pea seeds in there. And then in this bed here, in my 2, I cleaned out half of this bed right here to plant it. Don't know what I'm planting in there yet. And then I have planted some watermelons and cucumbers. So there's a sugar baby watermelon in there. Buttercup, or those are cantaloupes. Those 2 are cantaloupes in the back. A couple of zinnias in here. So we've got 3, 4 watermelons and 2 zinnias, 2 cantaloupes in the bottom. And I haven't picked any tomatoes off of here. This is the I think this is the Dixie Red that's in here. And that's the ones in the middle is volunteer. This is the volunteer from one of the ones that was planted here. Spider web on me. This big one in the middle is a volunteer from something that was planted here last year. And I just planted other plants around it, the Dixie Reds. And this has got quite a lot. This is all that one plant. It's got 1 leader, and then it has 1, 2, 3, 4 heads branching off of it. And we've got 1, 2, 3 clusters. And the smaller ones that I planted in around it are just now coming in. And they have a couple on there. So, about to have some tomatoes. Hi. Good. Okay. So in the back row of my tomatoes, We have got a purple. This looks like it might be a Brad's Atomic Grape because it's like an oblong purple shaped one here. And this plant got knocked around by our sprinkler until we moved our sprinklers. So now it's starting to take off. And here's another purple one. I'm not sure which purple one it is, but they're going all the way into the chicken pen. They've got tomatoes all over it. This one right here has got some round tomatoes on it, and a bunch of them. And I wish I knew what varieties these were, but this one has huge beefsteak and several clusters on it. And then this one here has got a purple beauty or a black creme, I'm not sure which, but it has a bunch of beautiful clusters of purple tomatoes on it. And then this one has a whole bunch of clusters, big tomatoes on it on the corner. The one on the corner always does well. This is some kind of flower that I've got in a mix, and some more basil. Got these basil plants planted in the front. And then here I have, I don't know if this is a pumpkin or a squash. I can't remember what, I threw some seeds in there that I had saved, but I'm just training it to grow on the fence, so maybe it won't interfere with my peppers. This is my pepper bed that I built and then modified to where it was just 2 layers. And on the end, I thought this was a cherry pepper, but it's a banana pepper, I think. You can see the banana peppers down in there. And then these 2 that are on the inside are the hot cherry peppers that I got from True Leaf Market, that I'm super excited about making pickled peppers with. And then back here I got my giant Marconis, and these 4 are giant Marconis, and then those 2 are Serranos, giant Marconis, and then those 4 back there are the Jimmy Nardello peppers. And then these big ones on this end are all the colossal jalapenos from Hoss Tools, and they are finally starting to put on jalapenos back there. You can see them. So I'm excited for those to start coming in. And then moving around, this is our pink jumbo banana squash, and it has been really loving this spot and putting on. I've already started getting baggies. There's one right there. There's one that's growing real big right there. And I bet I need to look this plant over and find some more babies, because I'm sure there's more babies on there now that I need to put bags on. And here are my tomatoes. And I got some more of those Taylor beans to pick down here. And just look at all these cherry tomatoes. Gobs and gobs of cherry tomatoes. Here's one of those Gilberty paste tomatoes. Here's some ripe black cherry looking tomatoes. And a lot of these are from the Wonder Tomato medley pack that you can get from Costco or wherever. I'm gonna have the majority of our tomato harvest, I feel like, is going to be cherry tomatoes. But then we have our big purple tomatoes tucked in every now and then. And then I have a cherry tomato that's growing all the way up that mammoth sunflower. So that he's starting to put up a head way up there, but I bet he's 10 feet tall at least. And then down here we have this beautiful zinnia plant and some of that Merlot lettuce, which I've been picking it a lot, making us some salads, because my other lettuce went to seed. Oh, this one opened up. Look at this zinnia. What a pretty color. So excited that my zinnias are opening up, because I just planted so many different packages and just threw them all into a big tray. And there's one of my watermelons. And I was trying to see if I could see what kind of watermelon that was. Black diamond. So that is a black diamond watermelon. I've not grown that one before, but he's liking that I put him on that trellis right there. And then there's a sunflower. And here's one of my Jing orange okra that the cutworm was trying to take him out, but he pulled through it. And then this is a zinnia that's got a bunch of branches and little flowers on it, and this one's yellow with a red heart, so that's really cute and exciting. Got a sugar baby transplant that I put there. Some more okra. It's a heavy hitter okra, and this was a sunflower that I popped in, and you can see the cutworm got a hold of it. And then down here I've got another watermelon, and then a cantaloupe on this side, and another sunflower. And then behind this trellis is also another little watermelon and a little watermelon right there. And then here is my zucchini rampicante. Biggest leaves I've ever seen on a squash plant. But it is, I got it sandwiched between those two trellises right there to hold it in. And I just saw one. I thought I just saw one. I know I saw some when I was pulling this trellis up and putting it over here. But we still got, I got a green from the spaghetti squash. I think I hybridized with the zucchini because I got a green buttercup looking squash. And I may have ended up germinating a buttercup and planting it in here and didn't know it, but it definitely looks like a buttercup. Let's go on the other side and see if we can see. Right here is just some late tomatoes that I put in. One of them kind of started taking off, and the chickens whacked those two back, so they're just in there. And here's another zinnia that's yellow with a red heart that's coming up right there that I planted. But look at all the clusters of these purplish striped one that goes all the way into the chicken pen. I'll need to try to pull it back in. And then right here in this bed I got some basil and some peppers. I don't know what kind of peppers those are. Maybe volunteer peppers. Wax peppers. Those are the yellow wax peppers right there. And some more of the lettuce leaf basil. Couple more tomatoes, and then more tomato plants all through there. Some pepper plants and basil plants in here. A few more onions I gotta pull out. More pepper plants that volunteered. And then right here is my 3 green tomatillos that I planted in here. So I do want to plant a few more of those plants. In this bed I have a couple of sunflowers, some more peppers, and some flowers. Got some celosia, some other kind of flower in there, and then a couple of tomatoes. And then before we come all the way around, we'll go back. Finally got some flowers with fruit, some female flowers on the zucchini rampicante. And this, y'all, this is the whole, this is not the stem, this is where the fruit starts. And it goes all the way to there, and then it bulbs, and it's got a flower on the end. So that's what these rampicantes look like snake gourds or something. So they have really long necks. Here's some of my Mexican sunflowers in here. And my my spaghetti squash that's growing in here. I was just trying to see, that was one of the fruiting flowers that I saw. I saw a couple different ones. I'm not going to be able to find them today, probably because of the lighting. But the reviews, there's another one of those mammoth sunflowers up there about to open up. And then there's the other one over there that's really taller. But the review said that these kind of just sat there all spring while all the rest of the squash did their thing, and then they came to life and started producing when it got really warm. So that's kind of what they're doing. Here's that tomatillo plant, and I have some pea plants that are holding up some kind of lima beans that volunteered in here with these squash, because I had planted lima beans in there last summer. And so we started picking corn, get out of the jungle. So a lot of our corn is starting to get ready. There's the ice cream sunflower. So, yep, the peaches and cream is the only one that has come off so far. I planted peaches and cream and silver queen. So it has started to come off and get ears of corn. There's so much jungleness in here, it's hard to show you anything. But super excited. There's another mammoth sunflower that has already started going to seed. Walking through a tomato steak. And there's the velvet queen. And she is gorgeous. She's so gorgeous and so perfect. And there's a little bee on there. And she's got all of her heads coming on. And just absolutely the most stunning sunflower in the garden. In my opinion, my favorite one. And then there's the autumn beauty back there we were looking at. And all the corn. So we'll go back around over here because I want to show you what the spaghetti squash is looking like. And I planted some volunteer pepper plants, transplanted them into here. They're starting to make little buds. And then right here I scattered some flower seeds. I actually scattered flower seeds everywhere throughout the garden the other day. But there's some flower starts in there. Some more shelling peas that I planted in here. And then on this little trellis I planted down there, I planted some cucumbers, some muncher cucumbers. And I've got a few of those come up. And then in here, half of these are the rest of my Taylor beans, and the other half are butter peas. And the Taylor beans have started to kind of put off a little bit of runners. These are my Cherokee wax beans that I've been growing. And back here in the back, I've been picking off these for a couple months now. There's a couple of the Taylor beans in there as well. And then back here is my Odessa squash. And I also planted 2 loofah. So there's a loofah and there's a loofah. And these have started flowering and getting bigger now that it started warming up. So maybe we'll get some Odessa squash. There's a squash right there. Female plant. Female flower. And then I've cleaned out this bed. It's got a little bit of the greens left in there, but cleared out the rest. And my collards are still going right there. I've got another bed right there that I'm going to use to grow lettuce in a little while when it gets this lettuce here gets up. So I planted the Tahama lettuce, some black seeded Simpson, some different varieties of lettuce that I had. Bib lettuce. And then right there, that one little plant right there is a sunset runner bean that my friend Linda sent me. And she sent me 5 seeds, and I planted them all at different places in the garden to see how they would do. So I've been a long time since I planted scarlet runners several years back, and I planted them on this fence right here, and they went wild. And they put off a lot. So coming around, there's the front gate right there. This is the big front bed that I've got tomatoes and watermelons and cantaloupes. So tons and tons of cherry tomatoes in there. And then there's a beefsteak tomato right there. I don't remember which one it is or what color it is. There's another slicing tomato right there. Here's some more okra in this bed. There's everything in this bed. Bunch of watermelons. The watermelons are starting to run and be happy. And then here's another purple slicing tomato, and I've already picked 2 of these. I'm about to pick these 2 as well. Wish I had left my bucket somewhere in the back, but I'm fixing to pick these off. And set them in the house to get ripe. It's about to be tomato sandwich time. So excited. I've eaten a bunch of cherry tomatoes so far, but none of my slicers have gotten completely ripe yet. And you can see that we've got the watermelons going everywhere. There's a happy watermelon right there that's growing up my rose trellis. And there's actually a couple of cantaloupes in here because there's several. One right there is getting powdery mildew, but it has a cantaloupe on it. And in my grow bags, I had my volunteer cantaloupe came back from last year, and it's got a ton of cantaloupes on it. So this will be the first year that we get cantaloupes ever, pretty much. And I'm super excited to get melons this year. You can see this watermelon that's on the rose trellis has got flowers on it, so where there's flowers there'll be fruit. Some more cherry tomatoes I need to pick back there. And then this is my lettuce bed that we planted back a few months ago. It has gone to seed, so I've been ripping it out so I can plant something else right there, but I don't know what I'm gonna plant there yet, so I haven't been ripping it completely out to cut down on the weeds. And then this is my succession plant of the yellow wax beans. And I planted 4 packs of these from the dollar. Just a quarter little sacks of beans. So they're putting on little buds. They're going to be making pretty soon. And I was wondering if my spaghetti squash plant was done, because it made about 10 or 11, maybe 12 squash. And then it sat there for a while, and I was like, well, it's getting a lot of powdery mildew. It may just be, that might be it. But then, come out here, and we've got that fruit. We've got that fruit. We've got a fruit underneath it. We have 2 fruits right there. So right in that cluster, there's 3 spaghetti squash. So I'm gonna fertilize this really good. I had fertilized it with the bone meal steaks. I've put 2 bags of bone meal steaks out here on all my tomatoes and squash and everything. And then here is a big, I used to have, last year I planted this bed full of tomatillas. And so I've got 1 volunteer tomatilla right here. So I'm hoping that this one can pollinate with them if they flower. And then there's also 1 across the way in that corn bed that's seeded over there. So that's super exciting that we might get some more spaghetti squash, because we love them so much. And I'll show you the big one that was on that arch trellis that we planted, or that we had in the bag hanging there. So these are the squash that I picked a couple of days ago. I got some onions that I gotta plant that we had bought from the store and used up. So that's the zucchini that I missed. And then here is this odd one that was over on the zucchini rapicante bed that were the other spaghetti squashes that we saved seeds from. And he's green, so I don't know. Some of my spaghetti squash were yellow and some of them were this green color. So that is the biggest one by far that we got. And it is pretty big. So that's what's going on in this garden. I want to show you guys what we got going on in our grow bag garden. We did pull up all our potatoes, so we'll be looking at that in a little bit. I'm gonna stand on this side and pan so you can see, or I can see the garden and how it looks right now from this angle. Our Mexican sunflowers are getting pretty tall back there. I'm gonna finish picking a couple of tomatoes, and then I'm gonna go in the house and get something to drink for a while before I get started on my canning projects, and then probably pick some more this afternoon. So I'll talk to you guys later.